Hey, what's up, guys? Tuki here, back again with another episode of my Buffalo Bills franchise mode series. And in this episode, we get right down to business and make up for lost time, because in the last episode, we certainly get caught up in terms of trying to make trades and just teams not being willing to do anything and to make moves, and it led to a massive headache. We really didn't get much accomplished in that last episode, outside of eventually getting some deals done, including the trade of Deshaun Swinton. We acquired Daron Payne, Tremaine Edmonds, and Malcolm Morrell were moved out. We get Kawan Byram. We got some of what we needed, even if the price was a little bit high, but it's a price I was willing to pay. As we look at this team now, 87 rated still, mainly led by that defense. But you look offensively, Kawangio, Charles, you now have Byram with Pittman a tight end, which is going to help quite a bit as opposed to Pittman just being the main guy. Defensively, the big thing here is Tre'Davious White's back, Daron Payne in there at the second defensive tackle spot. The big change you'll notice here is at linebacker, where at the moment I have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson moved from outside linebacker to middle linebacker. Now, while we are on a 4-6 defense for the sake of the scheme fit, our defensive playbook has been changed from the Sean McDermott Buffalo playbook to the New England playbook, which switches from the 3-4 to the 4-3. I'd like to think, and we're going to test this out, I'm not saying this is a permanent change, but we're going to see just how much Chauncey still plays, because I do want to try and develop Harvey, who still has a good development pattern right now. And then, of course, Riley is the big beneficiary to the fact that we moved Tremaine Edmonds out. Aside from that, again, I still think the team's in a very good spot. You get that extra help on the defensive line. I mean, Jackson and Keaho are solid options. Keaho has a bit more of a future. Jackson right now is just kind of a holding guy for us because of the changes we made to this team. You know, talking about, and you would have seen it there when we looked over in League News, although it's not showing up there now, of course, the changes that we made, getting rid of guys like Ryan Shazier. And it was the ones, for me, of course, that dropped off drastically once they ended up on the wrong side of 30. I talked about that before with Micah Hyde still being a 91. We didn't exactly get rid of him, as we're going to hold off on re-signing either of those two. But we didn't get rid of Micah Hyde because he didn't drop off to a drastic level, whereas Ryan Shazier fell off pretty damn hard. Devontae Adams was still useful, but was going to continue to decline. I'm not going to say with Devontae Adams that we couldn't have held on to him for another season or two before he really kind of got worrisome, but the lower those overall drops, with those contracts staying the same, the less value they have, theoretically. So it made sense to get rid of them in that way. But, we kept Micah Hyde because he was still on the right side of 90, despite being on the wrong side of 30. It made sense. We don't have to talk about those moves. The point is, the team is set. Whether or not we end up having success this season, time will tell. We're 4-1 this year, despite the trade of guys like Adams and Ryan Shazier. Now, after these moves, getting rid of Worrell, Swinton, our backup quarterback, losing Tremaine Edmonds. If you really think about it, we lost one roster player in Tremaine Edmonds and brought in a tight end and a defensive tackle. So I'm good with it. But we have a big first challenge. We are on the road in Kansas City. And whether or not we'll be able to get the better of them, well, we are going to find out as we give up a touchdown very quickly into this game, but tie it not long thereafter. I would like to sim quite a few games in this episode just to make up for the fact that, again, the last episode was a bit more focused on the roster management side of things. It's 17-13 at halftime. Of course, I haven't looked at what any of the plays were, but we'll see the stats at the end as we're up 20-17. Ball on the Kansas City 41 to begin the fourth quarter, and we have to settle, I believe, for a field goal there. So 23-17, 51-yarder is good for Jake Elliott to make it a 6-point game. And Chauncey, well, there you go. There's your answer as to whether or not he's playing. He recovers a fumble. We'll start on our own 19 on this next drive. So there you go. There's your answer. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is still playing as we settle for another field goal with 3:48 remaining, a 54-yarder. So Elliott making his money in this game. They do march down the field as we recover the onside kick. They do have all 3 timeouts, though. This game is not over. 26-24 with 1:12 remaining. We start off with a 4-yard rush for Jericho and Kang to burn the first timeout. 2nd and 6, and Kang loses yardage. Big 3rd down play here. It's a completed pass to London Charles, but the Chiefs will get the opportunity. They'll start at the 20. 41 seconds remaining. First play, and Lamar Jackson is sacked. I did not think that was who happened to be in at quarterback for them. Let's see how this goes. Clock is ticking. 30 seconds left. They have 3 turnovers in this game. We don't have a single one. Can we hold on? Lamar Jackson looking, scrambling. Not exactly the play I'd recommend. Hell of a spin move. He gets crushed, though, after a 7-yard pickup. And again, whenever a team runs the hurry up, this happens. I'm not even allowed to choose a play. He was spiking it at least. 7 seconds left. That was so weird. I hate how that happens. 7 seconds left. 4th and 6. This is the game right here. Let's see what happens. Is there a miracle play? Or will we hold on to get our first victory of the episode in our first attempt? Let's find out. Quick throw from Jackson is picked. It's Pyle. I believe Bryant Pyle gets the interception, and that'll be it. So it ended up being relatively close, but we're going to move to 5-1 on the season with a win here in Kansas City after a couple of those moves. Good stuff. And again, with the team, you can argue over some of the changes. I'm not saying everything we've done here has been right, but we are 5-1 on the year at the very least, and that makes me feel a little bit better. That said, it wasn't exactly a banner game for Hanson Erickson. 27-42, 259 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Rushing-wise, Kareem Hunt, 93 yards with 2 touchdowns. Receiving-wise, Kawangio led the way in receptions and yardage. And Kiwan Byram, in his first game, 7 receptions for 72 yards. So not bad, already proving to be a little bit of an offensive threat, which we needed him to be. Blocking-wise, Stemke and Weeks, not bad, only 2 sacks allowed. And Chauncey was tied in solo tackles with Micah Hyde. I think we're going to be okay. Harvey with 2 tackles. That's what I wanted to see. Riley, not a single tackle. He had an assist, at least, not a solo. In terms of quarterback sacks, 2 for Clayton Malone because he's a beast, and Idris Stevenson with 1 as well. Interception-wise, Brian Pyle at the end, and Mike Hilton also had an interception. There must have been a fumble, and there was. It was Chauncey, of course. So there you go, and then Jake Elliott made his money in this game. 4 for 4, including a longest of 54. Let's see there. Not bad. So we hit a 30 to 39 yarder, a 40 to 49 yarder, and then 2 over 50 yards. 26-24 is your final in our first game. We moved to 5-1, and so far that change to the defensive strategy paid off, which I am quite happy about. Let's move on. We play some old friends, some old faces in Week 8 here against Washington, as London Charles has an upgrade point. We'll go ahead and make him better, probably as a deep threat. Definitely as a deep threat. Let's go ahead and do that. He won't move up to an 82, but that's all right. He'll get help in some attributes that he needs. +3 to the deep route, so not bad for someone with star development. Again, in terms of negotiations, we're going to wait with those 2. They're both, well, in fairness, they're not a normal development. Drico might as well be, just because of the age that he's at right now, as we are focused on the secondary with our scouts. Right. Is that a new development? Granted, it's been a bit. Carlos Ward will shortlist. We will definitely shortlist Markeith Norris. What about Grant? Zone coverage is a bit low, but that's not terrible. Laquan Penn will definitely stay. And Nixon, nah. I mean, he's not that bad, I guess. 7th round talent. We'll still shortlist him. Yeah, that's going to be unacceptable, though. You know what? With some of the high end talent here, nah. I need that at least 1 good starting grade. Like, I need man coverage or zone coverage to at least be in the B's. There we go. So, Myrick is acceptable for that reason. Jimmy McBride looking pretty good too, so this could be a good draft for the secondary. Martinez Hart will absolutely not be looked at, and I just accidentally wasted a point there on Brian Turner. But that's all right. So we are good to go. 5-1 against 5-1. We're on the road in Washington. We have a 12 overall point advantage. So case in point, I'd say regardless of how the team is set up right now, much like the majority of sports games in terms of franchise mode, the sim does what the sim wants. Is there any reason for Washington, who are 12 overall points weaker than us, to have the same record? Probably not. It's just the way it is, though. You never quite know how it's going to go. So that's why I haven't exactly been too afraid in the past few episodes to make some controversial moves, we'll say, because overall isn't everything, as we've discovered, because there have been some seasons already where I'm quite sure we've been the highest rated team, and we haven't won a Super Bowl yet, in case you haven't noticed. But let's see what happens here in this game. We'll sim through the first quarter. Washington strikes first. We're able to tie it up, and that's that. 7-all after the opening 15 minutes. It was a 34-yard rushing touchdown for Kareem Hunt. As we start off the second with another touchdown, Washington gets a field goal back. Make that 2 field goals back. 14-13, a 1-point game. At halftime, it was a 3-yard rushing touchdown for Drico and Kang. So we begin the second half. We strike first, 21-13. Washington gets a field goal back. It's a 5-point game, so yet again, another close contest. We'll see what it was here. It was a 14-yard touchdown pass to Hunt. Let's see what happens here. Washington drives down the field in pretty quick order. 24-21, capped off by a 4-yard touchdown pass. Can we get back into it? Solid drive, ends in a field goal, 24-24, with 9:47 remaining. It was a 41-yarder for Elliott. Washington turns it over, I do believe. Or was it a punt? I think it was turned over on 4th. I don't know why Way's punt showed up. I guess because it was a touchback. This game's weird in that way sometimes. We have possession, at least, starting on our own 20, but it is a 3-and-out. 50-yard punt from Sanchez, but that could be trouble. Washington forced to punt immediately as well. Neither team wants to win this, apparently. Let's see how this goes. 2:15 left. Is there a game-winning drive from Hanson Erickson? We start off with a 9-yard reception for London Charles, as it plays it again for some reason. 2nd and 1, there was a flag, I believe, but regardless, we do get the first down. We're running low on time, and the team isn't bright enough to call timeouts. Why is my AI not smart enough to call timeouts? They finally did, but I think we're going to run out of time. Kareem Hunt's hurt, and everything's going to hell, and we're going to overtime. The AI it needs to be improved, and I swear, I feel the same way with every game where I watch the AI. Whether it be Madden, whether it be watching the AI sometimes in NHL, and you look at their situational management, but especially in football where it's even more of a situational game, I feel like all you have to do is watch the AI play, and then you could say, oh, that should probably be addressed. So it's like, has anybody done that in this instance? Because this is not the first time this year that we've jumped into this. I mean, I've simmed every game like this, and it's not the first time that we've witnessed just god-awful AI clock management. As Kareem Hunt's apparently been injured again. He's been perpetually injured for like a season now, but he hasn't missed any time. It's super weird. Is that a first down? It's 2nd and 8, and Brenton Weeks takes a penalty. This could be bad. 2nd and 18. We got a 16-yard reception for Kawangio. 3rd and 2, and Malcolm Worrell gets the sack and forces the punt. So there you go, an old face comes back to haunt us. Washington starts off this drive on their 8. We'll see if they can get out of this mess. Big 3rd down here. Can the defense get the stop? Yes, they can. Mike Hilton really stepping up this season. We get the ball right back. A dominant effort there from our defense. Can we get the win, though, is the question. 7 yards for Nkang. I'm worried that Kareem might actually be hurt. Can our offense get anything going? First down there, Keaston Savage on the reception. 23 yards for Savage. We're in field goal range. 1 yard for Jericho. 2nd and 9, 3 yards. Big third down here. Going to be just shy, but we're in field goal range, and that is the game. Anticlimactic in a way, but there you go. It's an overtime victory. We move to 6-1 on the season with that victory. 27-24. Elliott hits the game-winning field goal. And again, we get rid of Deshaun Swinton. We stick with Hanson Erickson after his strong start to the season, but so far in this episode, it hasn't been good. 27 of 51, 267 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Rushing-wise, Kareem might be hurt. It says he's hurt, but it said that before, and he wasn't. 118 yards rushing on 19 carries with a touchdown. Trico with a touchdown as well. Receiving-wise, London Charles with 8 receptions led the way in terms of yardage, but it was Kareem with the only receiving touchdown. Gave up a couple of sacks that game. That's not too bad. Tre'Davious White led the way in terms of tackles. Chauncey was still up there. Marshall Kirkendall ended up getting a sack that game, and then no interceptions, unfortunately. Elliott was 2 for 2 and 3 for 3 in terms of the extra points. So 2 close games, but we do get the win. 2 close games against 2 strong opponents record-wise. Maybe not in terms of overall, but there we go. That's big. That is big. So Byram gets an upgrade point, as does Harvey already. Just 2 games into the lineup, and Harvey improves. Byram's up to an 81. Some big increases there, and we'll see what happens here with Walter Harvey. We'll make him better in the pass coverage. It won't get him up to a 76, but he'll get some decent points. Press and zone coverage, I'm good with that. Again, star development for the 22-year-old, and apparently Keaho also has an upgrade point. We'll make him better as a run stopper. That gets him up to an 82. Again, for those of you who play NHL, who know me for NHL, of course, I would kill to have this archetype system in the game. How amazing would that be? I think it would be incredible. Instead of having to worry about adjusting player types like we have to in franchise mode, just be like, oh, I want this left wing to improve as a sniper. And that gets the upgrade on shooting stats. I love the archetype system. I don't know how people, that are just solely Madden players feel about it, but I would kill to have this in NHL by far. As we'll make Bennett Hval better. He's up to an 81 overall. A lot of points there, plus ones across the board. Not bad for the 21-year-old rookie. As we are shaping up to play the 5-3 New York Giants. Thank God it's not on the road. We are well aware of our struggles at MetLife. As we will continue to look here. Dixon Trapp, solid option. Teddy Parker, okay, not great. Solomon Poole's pretty good. Kevin Mack, Darren Stone, and Jimmy Butler will be the final few that we look at. Kevin Mack's looking great in terms of overall. And Jimmy Butler's okay. It's not bad. I'm going to avoid scouting out 7th round picks for obvious reasons. We just don't have time. Let's take a look at safeties here, even if it's not the biggest need. Then again, Micah Hyde will be retiring at some point. Antoine Greer, I'll leave, but I don't exactly like the C grade. And unfortunately for Jameek Burns, it's not quite where we'd want it. I'll leave Greer there, but I'm not too excited about Burns. I'm not too excited about the majority of players that I'm seeing here. Man and zone coverage is solid, but yeah, I'm just not feeling it. If that pursuit grade, his next highest attribute's that low. And even with Will Luckett, not really feeling it here with what we've seen from these safeties thus far. So again, 85 offense, 93 defense. Let me take a look here. So West Coast zone run, we're at a 61, and that's still pretty much the best way to go. And then again, the 4-6 defense, we're at a 95 scheme fit, so it does help defensively. The playbooks, New Orleans and New England. So with that, 6-1. Next highest team is the 4-4 Dolphins. We have a game at hand. Let's see what we can do here against the Giants. Can we keep up to our winning ways? We only have a 4 overall point advantage on them, as opposed to that massive advantage against Washington. And go figure, we ended up going to overtime and barely getting the victory in that game. Saquon Barkley, has turned into an absolute beast, really. So, better than Kareem Hunt. At this point, Kawangio still looking for his first touchdown reception, which is shocking when you look at what he did last season. It seems like every game he was managing to get into the end zone. This season, it just hasn't happened. And maybe it's because there is that pressure for him to be the number one with Davante Adams not being here. Could just be for the fact that Erickson hasn't exactly been what we needed him to be, which, again, he got off to a really good start, though. So it's kind of frustrating in that way. But regardless, we're not here to analyze this team top to bottom for the moment. Right now, we're here to win a damn football game. So let's do that, shall we? As they start off with a pretty weak drive that led to us being up 14-0. So happy about that. Very happy about that. So they started off with that drive. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Justin Herbert. But again, we started this before that custom draft class was finished. I noticed that typo. 17-yard rushing touchdown for Kareem Hunt and a 2-yard touchdown pass to Kawan Byram. So there we go. Hold on. Did I make a mistake? Did I make a mistake? I did, didn't I? No, it is Byram. I'm like, is it Byram or Bynum? It's Byram. To halftime we go. We're up 14-0. The Giants get on the board. We answer right back. They answer back as well. 21-14 is the score at halftime. We'll take a look here. It ended up being a 30-yard touchdown pass to Kareem Hunt. So there you go. I think that's also a factor as well with Kawangio, is that we have a very versatile backfield as we trade touchdowns. 31-21 is the score. Not exactly the best defensive game. 13-yard touchdown pass to Leilon Kawangio then. There we go. Don't have to worry about it anymore. He's finally on the board. How do you like that? A 40-yard field goal for Elliott is the difference maker. Let's see what happens down the stretch as they are forced to punt. 10-point lead. It's a quick 3-and-out, though. 52-yard punt for Rigoberto Sanchez. They march down the field and get stopped, or not. A 32-yard field goal is missed. That gives us a chance. We march down the field and get the touchdown. It's a 17-point game. 6-yard touchdown pass to Keaston Savage, and Hanson Erickson is bouncing back in a big-time way as Julius Bradford gets the stop on 4th down. Will take over 41-21 with 3:29 to go. A 48-yard field goal for Elliott, and that will do it. The Giants are able to march down the field. 41-28 is your final. We are 3-0. So far in this episode, despite these drastic changes, which is quite nice. Hanson Erickson, with them focusing on him, I imagine would be the player of the game. He had 4 touchdown passes in this contest. Let's take a look. 30 of 43, 306 yards with 4 touchdown passes. Kareem Hunt was over 100 yards rushing with the touchdown. Kawangio, 10 receptions, 105 yards and a touchdown. Savage, 8 receptions in this game with a touchdown. Kareem Hunt as well with a touchdown. Hal Byram with the touchdown as well. Just crazy. Not a single sack allowed. Defensively, White led the way in terms of solo tackles. Hyde, Lattimore, Malone up there as well. Harvey with 4 tackles. 2 sacks, Stevenson and Joe Jackson. No interceptions. And then Jake Elliott, 2 for 2 in terms of field goals. And again, we move to perhaps a better record than I would have expected, as Bush and Dieter have both improved. Great help for the offensive line, as they should have probably improved after not allowing a sack. We'll make Lewis Bush better in an agile sense. Try to boost up that lowest archetype. Not bad. Still just an 82. And then Michael Dieter, who's someone I was starting to get worried about based off of age, will make him better in an agile sense. And again, don't know what there'll be, but I'll take that. Not bad. All things considered. Again, we are undefeated this episode. Now 7-1 on the season. I think much better than really any of us probably expected. Erickson should be, and he is, the offensive player of the week for the AFC last time out. Do we have another upgrade? We do! Hanson Erickson. There we go. Up to hopefully an 81. We're going to make him better in terms of a strong arm. He doesn't get the upgrade point, but does get some attribute boosts. Attribute boost, easy for me to say, which I'll take. Not bad. Still has that star development. I have hope for him yet. As we'll take a look at other safeties here, which, again, I like Greer, but the others not as much. Even Jameek Burns, not as much, really. It's kind of tough. It's kind of tough. I think I'm going to mark Burns back. He could just be a good depth option, but Antoine Sidney and Will Luckett, I'm just not as sold on. Maybe I should be. Maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh. Maybe we just won't mark anybody for the moment. Let's just continue to scout out. Like Devin Sawyer, I'd be, more excited about than Will Luckett, which I don't think anyone would disagree with. George Baca, you will not be looked at. Long Logan, you will not be looked at. Roland McIntosh, absolutely not from there. And let's see, what else do we have? Nope. And no. Wow. All right, so in terms of free safeties, that's absolutely brutal. There were a couple of good corners. And then what about here? Morrell Gilmore, looking okay. Crosby Horton, looking pretty damn good. Carroll Hull, also looking pretty good. All right, well, strong safety making up for what the free safety category lacked. Steron Payne was apparently bumped up, but he'll be good to go for this game. So that's good. Let's continue. There's really no controversy, no decision making to be had. Let's just keep going. We host the Denver Broncos. We have a 10 overall point advantage on them. I was going to take a look at anything how the Dolphins have done. Of course, we know that we had that game at hand on them. Whether or not we caught up, not sure whether a bye week would have been. But I'm feeling good about our chances to take a division title this season. And despite these changes, I don't know if anyone would have been surprised to be like, yeah, we're on course to be a playoff team. I mean, maybe, just because of the caliber of some of the guys I traded, hitting the panic button a little bit early and not wanting to get stuck with terrible contracts. But we are on pace to win the division. We're on pace to be a playoff team again. And of course, from there, it just comes down to whether or not we actually find success. As we will sim through the first quarter here against Denver. They get the opening field goal and a quick touchdown to boot. 10-0 at the end of the first. It would be a shame after a strong offensive performance to just not get anything going here. 17-3 is your score. We were down in the end zone too, and we weren't able to, or down in the red zone. We weren't able to get into the end zone or even hit a field goal. 17-3 is the score at halftime. A very poor start to the game. We do bounce back, though, and there we go. Quick point swing. 10 unanswered points. 17-13 is the score. We're back into it. It was a 4-yard touchdown pass to Kawangio and a couple of field goals. Can we get back into it? Our defense can't get a true stop. 24-13. 12 and a half minutes to go. We need a good drive here from Erickson. 24-16. We needed a touchdown there in a big-time way. Can our defense get the stop? We haven't forced as many turnovers as we did last year with Shazier. Can somebody step up? And there we go. It's a punt, I guess. Whenever I see yellow, I associate that with a turnover. Green's supposed to be a punt. Super weird, but with 3:16 to go, we have a chance to get back into this game. It's just a matter whether or not we can. Forced to throw it away. On first down, 2nd and 10. Oh, God, big third down here. We need this play, and we get 10 yards with Savage. Is it enough for a first? It is. 15-yard completion to London Charles. We throw it away on first down, 3rd and 4. 22 yards for Kawangio. And let's take a look to see whether or not the team can finish the job. 1:22 remaining. Patriots and Jets tied at 17 each. Here we go. Erickson, throw over the middle of Kareem Hunt. He'll get some yardage on the play. Ball at the 20. Here comes the hurry up. That was Erickson's 50th pass attempt. We didn't change the offensive schemes, so just the fact that we've been throwing the ball as much as we have is pretty surprising. Erickson checks down to Hunt, who is stopped. We lose a yard on the play, and this is it. 4th and 5. This could be the ball game right here, despite the fact we have all 3 timeouts. Erickson the snap. Will he throw to Hunt? He doesn't. He goes for it, and it's picked off. Brown with the interception. It looked like he had Hunt wide open. Didn't take it. And this will be, more than likely, our first loss of this episode and just our second loss on the season. Not ideal from one Hanson Erickson. Yeah, right there, Kareem Hunt. You could see him at the bottom of the screen. He was open. He would have had the space to get the first down. Erickson panics, goes for glory, comes up with nothing. Why are we getting a review of his feet? It's very obvious he picked it in bounds. Oh my god. So the Josh Rosen-led Broncos. Why this is taking 6.5 hours to back me out of this, I have no idea. But there we go. It should be over. Let's go change of possession. And indeed it is. So there you go. Erickson had the chance to be the hero. He could not come up with the play that was necessary. Again, if that's, you'd like to think it's like, well, if you were controlling it, you would have just, checked down to Kareem, but it didn't happen. Erickson, 37-52, 366 yards, but just one touchdown, and the pick at the end. Kareem Hunt, again, showing up as injured. I don't get it. 77 yards in that game. Kawangio had a big game with the only touchdown. Byram did quite well. Only 2 sacks allowed. Defensively, Stevenson had a great game. Hyde, Malone were up there. In terms of sacks, Malone, Keaho, and Stevenson. The 1 interception for Tre'Davious White. But it just didn't happen. 24-16. A couple of big games for the offense. This time out, though, just 1 touchdown. As Clayton Malone may be taking that step up to a 90. So if we're going to look on the bright side to losing that game, Malone's going to be stepping up. I'm going to make him better as a speed rusher, and that does get him up to a 90. Again, just because it's in the speed rusher category doesn't mean it can't improve the attributes that he has elsewhere. So that's been my go-to as of late. I've been playing this a little bit offline too, as far as, trying to just improve their weakest archetype, because it can still improve their go-tos. Scouting we're not going to worry about, or re-signing we're not going to worry about. Of course we're going to worry about scouting. Let's see what we have here as we look to finish scouting the secondary. Martwan Gates isn't great. Ephraim Myers, if that tackle was a C, would be looking even better. Yeah, Giorgio Nelson we're going to avoid. Harmon Harrington, definitely a 7th round kind of guy. Yeah, it really drops off from there. So that's it for the secondary. Might not be the best way to go. I kind of want to take a look at Duncan McCain and Hudson Russo or Norman Frazier, but we'll avoid for now. Linebackers, we have not scouted fully. Did I forget to scout right outside linebackers entirely? That's incredibly strange. I wouldn't be surprised, though, just with how much of a mess the last episode was. I can't even really blame the last episode on it. That's just super weird. So, number 1, Eugene, you're out of here. Thank you for your service. Do we have a kicking-based scout? We don't, so I'm not going to worry about it. Do we have another linebacker scout? We don't either. Right. Huh. Alright, well this could go poorly. Let's hire Reese Wagner. I honestly don't remember if I've scouted the defensive line. McDermott, do you have any upgrade points? You do! You do. So we could go wide receiver, we could go tight end. And I gotta be honest, I'm kind of leaning towards tight end. I think I'm going to do that. Try to boost up Byram because we at least have Kawangio and London Charles. So that'll be the way to do it. In terms of maxing out McDermott, he's looking pretty damn good. I just hope we don't lose him. For some reason, I've been in that habit of just offering coaches a shitload of money once they're close to being maxed out, and they always leave. So that sucks. So again, in terms of the secondary, we're good. And in terms of linebackers, I don't know what the hell happened there, but we're going to have to waste the extra points to take a look at these. Oh my god. Yeah. We can't afford to have someone be that bad if we're going to have to waste the extra points here. Not the ideal way. This next draft, if it's poor, that's on me for sure. So we're at 7-2. Dolphins and Jets both at 4-5. So we're still looking good. We'll sim this game here against the Patriots, and then we'll see what happens from there. We have a 9 overall point advantage on the Brady-less Pats. We'll see what we can do here. Hopefully we can get back into the win column. An unfortunate way to end that last game, but you got to have some faith in Hanson Erickson, I suppose. He's the guy that we really, I'm not going to use the phrase of, putting all the eggs into the Hanson Erickson basket because, our defense is stacked, it's stacked. At least the secondary is stacked, even with the loss of Jordan Poyer, who Vol's pretty damn good already. The beast known as Clayton Malone. You get what I'm saying here. Let's go ahead. And for the third straight game here at home, let's see if we can get back into the win column. As we will take an early lead, 7-0. Let's take a look at what that ended up being. The Patriots will have a third down here. A 1-yard rushing touchdown for Kareem Hunt. As we go to halftime, the Patriots still unable to score. Make it 10-0. Patriots get a late field goal, so 10-3. Very low scoring first half. Which, go figure, with the game the Patriots and Bills played recently. New England ties it at 10 apiece. And I'm a little bit afraid here. The offense is stalling out. We do get a field goal to start the fourth quarter. 13-10 is the score. The Patriots march down the field to tie it. Robbie Gould is their kicker at the moment. Can we get back into the lead? The answer is no. And the Patriots will have a chance to end it here. 4:49 to go. Very frustrating game for the offense as the Patriots get a field goal with less than a minute remaining. We only have one timeout. Is there a late drive to keep this game alive? 9-yard reception for Byram, 6 yards for Byram. There's one play left. We do call a timeout. So, of course, it calls a timeout now, and it's going to make me sit through this cutscene, which is fine. It's not. Just kidding. It sucks. Why I can't skip a cutscene when it's on Super Sim, I don't know. Like, why I can't skip through this right now just because it's on Super Sim, I don't understand. But here we go. Last play of the game. Starting on our own 40-yard line. And from the looks of it, we are going to drop 2 straight games after a fantastic start as we throw short to Hunt, and that will do it. The Patriots, the struggling Patriots, come into Buffalo and win this game. They just 100% shut down our offense, and we lose 2 straight. Erickson, 24 of 34, 247 yards, but no touchdowns and a pick. Hunt held to just 54 yards on 24 carries despite a touchdown. That is brutal. Byram led the way in terms of receptions and yardage. Blocking-wise, only 2 sacks allowed. Defensively, Tre'Davious White was solid. A couple of sacks from Malone and Keaho, and an interception from Marshawn Lattimore. It just didn't come together for us, so there you go. I guess that'll teach me for having some early optimism as far as how the team had been performing to begin this episode, as we are down to 3-2 now. 7-3 on the season. We're still looking okay for that reason, but certainly a little bit more concerning as Kawangio will be up to potentially an 86. Will make him better as a deep threat, and there you go. He is now an 86 overall. Not too bad for our superstar wide receiver. In terms of scouting, yet again, I'm going to have to rely on wasting points because I genuinely don't know what happened there. I guess I just outright must have forgotten to scout right outside linebackers. And yeah, I'm going to ignore those last 3. It's kind of annoying that, that talent level is what it is. In terms of defensive line, we have already scouted them, so I just forgot to scout. The right outside linebackers, I guess. Interesting. In terms of quarterbacks, we might still want to take a look at them in case anybody falls. It's the same way we've gotten now 2 quarterbacks who we ended up trading away. So we'll keep an eye on that. But let's see here. So Wagner, we didn't really need you for anything. Enjoy the paycheck. Nelson Curd, let's take a look as we switch our focus to the offense. We'll see what we have here. Any of these quarterbacks looking that good? Oof. Started off well for Colby Dennis, but kind of drops off. And yet again, it's looking like there may be some quarterbacks that could be worth picking up, whether as a backup, maybe some that will have some decent potential. I'm probably not going to scout out any quarterbacks in the 3rd round or later. We'll just look at the 1st round, projected 1st round talents that might fall. And if any of them do, that's where we'll pounce. As we're going to sim one more game in this episode. We're playing the 3-7 Raiders. It's another home game. And this could, make or break this episode. 87 rated against a 78. I'm going to, again, try to get back into the win column. And in terms of adjusting anything, whether it be playbooks or schemes or whatnot, it just seems to me that it's either the team shows up or they don't. If we show up, we get a 4-touchdown pass game for Hanson Erickson and over 100 yards rushing for Kareem Hunt. If we don't show up, we barely put up any points against a struggling Patriots team and potentially open up the division for others to catch us. So, we'll see how this goes. Can't really judge the entire episode yet until we play this final game. New Era hasn't exactly been too kind to us over the last couple of games, but we'll see what we can do. So Oakland gets an opening field goal. We answer back with a touchdown, 7-3. After the opening 15 minutes, it was an 11-yard touchdown pass to Kareem Hunt. Again, he is such a weapon coming out of the backfield as Oakland, with a touchdown of their own, regain the lead. 2 unanswered touchdowns, 17-7 is the score at halftime. Right. Let's go to the fourth. Are we going to get back into this one? 17-10 and 17-13. So a 4-point game here. The start of the fourth as they are forced to punt. And here is our opening to get back into this. And we do, 20-17, thanks to a 4-yard Kareem Hunt rushing touchdown. Still got a lot of time to go, though, and Oakland answers right back with a touchdown of their own, 24-20, capped off by a 7-yard touchdown pass to Adam Shaheen. 8:41 remaining. Can we answer back? Yes, we can. Quite quickly, as a matter of fact. 27-24. It was a 21-yard touchdown reception for Kareem. He does it again. Quick defensive stop there. Under 5 minutes to go. Can we have a long possession here? Yes, we can. And we just flat out kill the clock. Just like that. I'll take it. We're back in the win column. Oakland, they had 5 minutes to try and stop us and get the ball back. They simply could not. Hanson Erickson, 31 of 49, 348 yards, 2 touchdowns with 1 pick. Kareem, only 71 yards, but did have the touchdown. His big day was in terms of receptions. Keaston Savage led the way with 8 for 85 yards, but Kareem, 6 receptions, 73 yards with 2 touchdowns. In terms of blocking, we did give up some sacks that game, unfortunately. Chauncey led the way in terms of tackles, so he's still getting some play time. Bradford and Bennett Huval were up there as well, which worries me about Micah Hyde, but he's not showing up as being injured. In terms of sacks, Stevenson and Joe Jackson, no interceptions that game. Elliott was 2 for 2 as he continues to be consistent and reliable as we get the win. And we can at least end things here on a little bit of an optimistic note as we'll move ahead to Week 13. We play the Jets. We'll be able to see the schedule ahead. The next 5 games to end the season: New York, Philly, Houston, Dallas, and New England. Yet again, as Grant Stemke has the chance to go up to an 81. We'll make him a little bit better, and there we go. He is up to an 81. Good to see. +5 in the run block. Damn. That is one hell of a boost. He's pretty solid. He's the 8th ranked left tackle at an 81 overall, so that just goes to show you don't need close to 90 overall game changers for someone to be a game changer on the offensive line, I should say. Let's take one more look at Philip Osika. Yeah, so just for the sake of not wasting that many more points, again, if any of these quarterbacks drop into like the 2nd or 3rd round, that's where we could look to pounce. It's going to be the same thing for running backs. For as long as we have Kareem Hunt, we'll continue to scout out the top, the top end players, and if any of them fall, we pick them up where we can. Is there a running back scout? There is. It's old Haywood Schnupp, my favorite, outside of Moose Bakuchi, but Moose. Outside of him, as we'll take a look here, Dylan McLaughlin out of Penn State. Oof. He could be something special. Dejon Fitzgerald, love your mustard. DeAndre Houston looking okay. And Martinez Wade, also not that bad. We'll take a look at Solomon Cunningham for a 2nd round guy, and it kind of drops off. In terms of fullbacks, there's nobody. So we'll pay attention to probably the offensive line first, and then we'll go back to wide receivers and tight ends. And really, actually, now that I think of it, we should have time to scout out everybody. So let's just try to stay in order here, and we'll find a wide receiver base scout. Haywood, thank you for your time. Bill Barnett, welcome aboard. And we'll see what you can find. I'm always nervous in terms of scouting out wide receivers, just for how up and mostly down we have been. As Henry Hicks, I'm going to guess at 5. There's no way that he runs over a 4.4. There's no way. Deep route, release, 5'8". He's going to be fucking rapid. Like, that's not even a discussion. He is going to be so fast. That's going to be crazy. And Sergio Bishop as well. Might not be that bad. He's a hell of a route runner. So, overall, we've recovered from that stumble in terms of scouting. We're looking good. The upcoming draft is looking okay. We are at 8-3. The Dolphins up to 6-5. Around the league, we are tied for the best record. 4 teams at 8-3 right now. Us, Washington, Jacksonville, and Indianapolis. And, of course, after looking at Washington's overall, it's kind of annoying that we're in the same class, but like I said, despite those changes, as Baltimore is the worst team in the league, despite those changes to the team, getting rid of some veterans who were still useful, we're still right up there. We've rebounded quite well. Byram's been a good addition. Wide receiver-wise, I mean, Keaston Savage is only a 76. He has that good development pattern, though, and he's played pretty damn well this episode. Still just 22. Has room to get better, and that defense is still ridiculous on paper. And the good news is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson has still been seeing plenty of play time as we try to develop Harvey and Riley. That said, that will do it for this one. In the next episode, we finish the regular season. We find out whether or not we can stay at this solid pace and continue to be among the NFL's best, and hopefully win a division title. And who knows, maybe this year is the year, but we won't find out today. Thank you very much for watching. You know the deal in terms of supporting the video, the liking and the commenting and the subscribing and the bells and whatever the hell YouTube wants you to do in terms of, you know, them actually telling you when I upload. That's always nice. Check out everything in the description if you have not already done so. Everything from the Twitters to the SeatGeek thing that I rarely talk about because I don't like trying to edge it into a video like this, at least. It doesn't exactly make sense, but hey, it's always there in the description. You know, the same goddamn app that sponsors more impressive YouTubers than me, like Philip DeFranco and Urinating Tree and 5-Point Vids. Yeah, that same SeatGeek. I have my own code too that you can use. You should do it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.